Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled, The Sexist First Date Ritual Too Many Women Participate In. And guys, this article, which is obviously written by a woman, is her complaining about the time-honored tradition, at least back in the day, where men actually paid the bill on the first date. Guys invited the girl out to eat, or whatever the hell it was, and he paid the bill. But in her view, that idea is sexist and obviously doesn't belong in today's world and goes into this whole thing. And guys, you know it's pretty bad. You know things have gotten really bad when this is what is considered to be this great injustice. That a guy doing that is actually labeled as sexist. It's ridiculous, okay? And yet you have women complain all the time, where are all the gentlemen, right? Or chivalry is dead. Well, who do you think killed it? It's a perfect example of this. You know, I mean, it's crazy, but there are plenty of other greater injustices in the world to actually write an article about or talk about or complain about. Not, God forbid, the guy actually wants to, he invites her out and wants to pay for the bill. Okay? You know, I think it'd be funny to take women like this that make a mountain out of this molehill, take them to the certain parts of the world where women are treated pretty badly, like areas of the Middle East or whatever. Take them there for 1 month to see what it's like. And I bet you they'd come back here and they'd be begging for guys to do some of the things that they complain about right now and label as sexist or whatever. You know what I mean? They'd be begging for a guy to pay for dinner. They'd be begging to vacuum the carpet or cook something or wash some dishes or whatever. No joke, but it's ridiculous. So I'm going to go through this article, guys. You're going to see what I'm talking about here. And this, as you guys know, those of you dating and relationships and all that, you're going to encounter women like this. This is why I always recommend one drink. One drink on the first date. Save you a whole lot of trouble. You get there, you have your drink, and you can size up real quick what she's going to be like. And even if she's not like that, if she doesn't like you, you're not spending all this money on the bill anyway, on her getting a free meal. But I've given you my reasons before, but one drink on the first date saves a whole lot of trouble. And then later on, if things are going well with her, she actually likes you for you, and you're having a good time. If you then yourself want to take her out, invite her out for an actual meal or something, that's on you. And if you want to pay for it, you pay for it. Or if you want to split it, you split it. But it's up to you. You do what you want, guys. But you're going to encounter this type of crap because I know guys that have. So I'm going to go into this article. Starts off, it's a moment so many women who date men have experienced. You're at the end of the first date, the bill comes, and you're sitting there eyeing the guy for signs of his next move. Will he pull the chivalry card, covering the numbers with one hand while deftly putting down the credit card with the other? Will he act as if nothing happened and let the bill sit there between you until the very last moment, waiting to see what you might do? Will he look at you point blank and say, want to split it? I used to be that kind of woman who judged men for each of these actions. Really? This is what she's judging the guy on? There's plenty of other things to, size up the guy with, but judging him about the bill? The first guy was the keeper. He wanted to take care of me, and he valued my time. He was classy and sophisticated, and he had some money in the bank, a good sign that he had his life in order. The second guy was the coward. He definitely wasn't going to offer to pay, because he wasn't that into me. Because he was broke, who knows? But he also wasn't going to admit it unless he had to. He wanted me to suggest splitting the bill. And the third guy was the jerk, the one who obviously didn't respect me or care what I thought of him. He clearly wasn't trying to impress me. F that guy. Well, she's going to come back to these three guys at the end of the article, guys, and notice the last guy who wanted to split the bill, she says F that guy. Well, watch what happens at the end of the article. But this set of rules pounded into my head by well-meaning friends and family members, as well as the dictates of pop culture at large, didn't hold up against my experiences in the dating world. After years of serious relationships, casual relationships, and dozens of first dates with men and women, no surprise there, I came to the conclusion that there is no reason whatsoever to judge a man based on whether or not he pays for dates. The very idea is dated and smacked of benevolent sexism. It is not a cultural trope I want to support. We are all aware of traditional expectations of different sex dating. Men do the asking, men pay the bills, men follow up for the next date. Men pursue, women are the prize. Men who don't adhere to these gender roles are unchivalrously cads, and women who pursue them are desperate and maybe crazy. But why? Why exactly are men expected to pick up the check on dates, and why do so many women judge them if they don't? It harks back to an era before feminism and gender equality became part of the conversation, when men were often the sole providers for their families, while many more women stayed at home to care for the kids. A man who paid for dates showed that he could fill the role as a provider, and this supported the model of romantic relationships as transactional, an exchange of money and stability for sex and offspring. Ew. Is this really the mindset we want to reflect in the way we date today? Women are no longer shunned from the workplace, and we are closing the gender pay gap a little more each year. Guess what, honey? It's been closed a long time ago, and everybody knows it. With powerful female voices thriving in every area of industry, with several strong women running, widely supporting campaigns to become our next president, isn't it about time we abolish these antiquated dating rules that say men should be the pursuers and the providers, while women accept or decline their advances and their money as if we are property to be bought? Well, you can see who she is and where her mind is about all that. Guess what? There are plenty of women that actually like a guy that acts like a gentleman, so to speak, what is considered to be a gentleman, invites her out, he wants to pay, take care of her, all that. There are women that do like that. But you got women like her that try to convince others that that's a bad thing. Okay? And again, like I said in the beginning, and yet you have women complain, where are all the gentlemen? Well, it's women like this that killed gentlemen. And obviously, women that are far, far worse. She goes on, are we prizes perched on pedestals, or are we people capable of buying our own damn dinner? Yes, you can buy your own damn dinner, but there's plenty of women that want to be, have a guy treat them like a lady if they deserve it, But here we go again, where she's basically making it a negative thing that guys are obviously pursuing these women and wanting them, and she sees it as guys seeing them as a piece of meat. Now, as I've told you guys before, never put a woman on a pedestal, ever, because they're going to look down at you. But if you are interested in a woman, you can pursue in the beginning in terms of asking them out, taking the steps to initiate the courtship, so to speak. But then naturally, if a woman is feminine and girly and traditional, she'll start pursuing you after a while, where you can pretty much do nothing, and she'll be texting you and calling you and messaging you and all that. And the guy sits back and does nothing, if she really likes you. But in today's world, the guys have been conditioned to act like women, and they do all the pursuing, not just in the beginning to initiate the courtship, so to speak, but all along. Okay, guys become these needy little junior high girls with their constant texting and emailing and trying to see where they stand with the girl and all that. Completely out of whack. And then you have the women that don't do any of that. And you're going to see why some of these women don't do that, because of certain books that are published I'm going to mention in a second. She goes on, and yet if you ask women what they expect from men on first dates, and in many cases all dates, the old stereotypes persist. A survey of 17,000 unmarried heterosexual adults conducted by Janet Lever of California State University in 2015 found that 57% of women said they always offer to help pay the bill on dates. 39% were bothered if a partner actually accepted the offer. And a whopping 82% of men said that they pay the majority of dating expenses even after they've been dating a woman for an extended period of time. I got no problem in the beginning, after a few dates, drinks, that obviously you're having a good time, she likes you a lot, she's showing it, you've obviously hooked up, that a guy will take her out to actual dinner and pay the bill. I got no problem with that, if the guy's inviting her out, so long as it's what he wants to do and he takes her to a place that he wants to go to. But no guy should be taking a woman in the beginning out to the fanciest steakhouse in the city or the best seafood place in the city. No way. After, obviously, a couple dates for a drink or a couple drinks, if it's going really well, and obviously maybe if it's going well, maybe another date with a couple drinks and some appetizers. These are going to be low-priced places, not expensive places. So many guys will blow their whole paycheck on taking these women to these fancy restaurants for hundreds and hundreds of dollars for the meal, and they never hear from her again. Don't be that guy. Then after she likes you and you guys have hooked up, then maybe you can start taking her to nicer places. And at that point then, if you're actually dating, she can pay the damn bill sometimes. Or you can split the bill. It shouldn't all be on the guy. But I got no problem with the guy occasionally, especially in the beginning, after they've hooked up and obviously that he knows that she likes him, he pays for things, okay? But this whole idea that the guy should do it all the time, which some women think, that's bullshit. But also the idea that it must be 50-50 because of, God forbid, it's sexist, otherwise, is ridiculous as well. Goes on. When you switch the focus to younger women, these numbers still hold pretty steady. A survey conducted by Refinery 29 of millennial women who identify as straight or bisexual found that even though 46% of women felt guilty when they let a male date pay for them, 59% felt a man should offer to pay for a woman on the first date, and 48% said they would let the man pay if he offered. Well, these girls are going to be in for a surprise because as more and more guys realize, I'm not going to spend that kind of money on a first date, they're going to be in for a little surprise. One drink, guys, on the first date. Even self-proclaimed feminists feel this way. One woman I know, a ballsy, badass single mom and high-powered career woman who still manages to look hot at all times, once recommended I read The Rules, or what I like to call Ye Old Book of Anti-Feminist Dating Tips. She felt that its advice, which basically pushes gender stereotypes around dating to extremes, would help me find guys who would treat me better. Guys, the book, The Rules, I didn't read this, but I know enough about it, is basically a manual for women how to basically manipulate men. Basically, it teaches women to never pursue a guy, never chase a guy, never call a guy, never text him, make him do all the pursuing, make him do all these things all the time, and basically for her to get what she wants. And so when she mentioned that her feminist friend, who's a ball buster and successful and all that, recommended The Rules, I'm in no way, shape, or form surprised. If you have some time, look it up. You'll see what I'm talking about. And if you guys that date and do all that stuff, if you know a girl, if you go to her house and you see the book, The Rules, on her in her house, get out of there. Because it's going to be nothing but trouble. One of the rules is that a woman must never, ever initiate contact with a man for any reason. Ever, ever, ever. Because the chase. If you do take the lead and ask a guy out or offer to pick up the tab, it lowers your value in his eyes. That's bullshit. Best to keep him guessing about whether or not you're interested or even interested by remaining shrouded in mystery. Once again, ew. Well, I agree with her there because that's all a bunch of bullshit. Because again, the rules teaches women to act unnatural, to not go along with how nature designed them to be. This way of operating is not for me. I've never felt comfortable with traditional gender roles, even when it seemed like I was benefiting from them. Okay, I'll give her respect for saying that. For example, those guys who smugly pay every bill, I dated one for a year and a half. We'll call him Billy. Billy wined and dined me from the very first date with expensive meals and thoughtfully planned romantic outings. I had only dated broke artists in the past, so this kind of treatment was new for me. I assumed him shelling out all this dough was a sign that he really loved me. I totally drank the Kool-Aid. If he's paying for you, I don't see her problem, but again, we know who's writing this article here. But in the end, it was just an overcompensation for a basic insecurity he had about not being manly enough. Billy was scared to seem weak and unmasculine, so he paid every bill in order to seem strong and powerful. How does she know this? Did she get this guy to admit this? Or did she just assume this? He also used it as leverage to justify him neglecting our relationship after the initial honeymoon period. He was covering the majority of expenses, so I had no right to complain when he stopped treating me with love and affection. I owed it to him to keep quiet about my pesky feelings and annoying emotional needs. I felt like a piece of property he was paying to maintain. See what I'm talking about? And again, she doesn't. This is just the assumption she made. Okay? Obviously, this is why I talk about how the honeymoon period is all the fun, but eventually it comes to an end and things get kind of boring. Okay? And did she communicate it with him about her feelings and all that stuff? I don't know. But again, he was willing to take care of things. That's his business. Who cares? But just complain about it. As for my other judgment calls, the cowards who would wait to see what moves I would make when the bill came were often just well-intentioned dudes had been chastised by females for holding doors open and didn't want to insult me by assuming I wanted to pay the bill. And hilariously, this behavior of waiting to see what the other person would do with the bill, or when the bill came, was exactly what I had been doing. Oh, the irony. So it's bad if he does it, but it's not, it's bad if he does it, but it's okay if she does that. And you know, she mentioned guys that have been chasticated for holding open doors and things like that. Again, don't complain there are no gentlemen when it's women that killed him. And the third guy, the so-called jerk, he was the only person who was being honest and fair about things, who saw no reason why he should have to pay for everything, just because he had a penis and I had a vagina, because, hello, equality. Turns out I was the one who was being a jerk. It's time women who date men put an end to this nonsense. For the first time in history, we have something closer to equality. And clinging to customs that reinforce the stereotype of man as provider and woman as prize is not helping us move forward. See how ridiculous this is? Guys, I know women that absolutely despise feminism for shit like this. Okay? They like it when their guy treats them like a lady. But these are women that actually act like ladies. They're feminine women. And so when they hear this stuff, it just makes them scream. I know I got followers that email me and they like what I do because they think feminism is just ridiculous, has gone way too far, and has done its damage. I guarantee you I'm going to get an email after this video publishes from at least one woman, if not many, talking about this. Guaranteed. And for those who claim that splitting the bill kills the romance, I say only if you let it. The cagey moment of wondering if a guy will do the right thing and slap down his card is a thing of the past for me. Nowadays, when the bill comes, no matter whom I'm dating, I pull out my wallet and put my card down with a flirty smile. If a guy insists on covering the whole check instead of splitting it, I make sure I get him next time. Well, again, I got no problem with that if she wants to split the bill, okay? But I want her to do it because it's a nice gesture, not because of something for the sisterhood, okay? But that's what it really is about, and we all know it. And like I said in the beginning, guys, first date, one drink. That's it. You can size up who she is real quick. On that first date, if you're having a good time, if she's showing genuine interest in you, asking a lot of questions about who you are, she's displaying a lot of the traits and body language showing interest, all that stuff, which you obviously should know at this point. You want to get a second drink? Go for it. And then end it, and you'll be able to see what she's really like. Then if you go for a second date, at that point then, a couple drinks, maybe some appetizers, take her to a place that's not fancy. Do not spend the whole wad because, again, she needs to earn that type of special treatment. Then after maybe another date, you've hooked up, maybe after the second date or maybe the third date. Then at that point, if she obviously really likes you and you want to go to a nicer place because it's something that you enjoy and you're inviting her out, then fine, take her there. And then if you want to, because you invite her out, pay for it, okay. And if she offers to help pay the bill, great. But if you're still dating her, or if it's just her, or you're dating a couple other girls, at that point then, she ought to help pay. There's no reason she can't. And if no woman is ever willing to pay, guys, in any way, shape, or form, you ought to seriously question that. At the very least, you should be getting laid. But if that's not happening, and you're paying for everything, something's definitely wrong. So, anyhow, guys, this is the world we live in. This is the type of crap these women write articles about. It's ridiculous. So, anyway, guys, at the end of the day, I want you to do what you want to do. So that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the article, like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.